Hey guys, coming back for the Shannara Chronicles, Season 1, Episode 4, Changeling, and I was definitely looking forward to this episode. I've overall really enjoyed this show, but I would be lying if I said it isn't suffering from a lot of problems, and this episode definitely shows that. I mean, most of my problems this episode are stupid character things that they do. I mean, stupid decisions that the characters make. Really, almost every character in this episode makes a stupid decision. We'll get into that, but overall, I will say that I do think overall this was the strongest of the 4 episodes. There were just a lot of things to really enjoy about it, but there were a lot of things that really didn't work about this episode as well. But let's just get into it because overall I am enjoying this show, and I'm going to continue watching it just knowing that there are only 6 episodes left. But I will say the pacing of this show, they really need to pick it up because we are on episode 4, and we still haven't gotten to the main plot of this show yet, and I really feel we're gonna get there in the next episode, but I thought that with this episode, and that still hasn't happened, so let's just get in this episode. There's a lot to get into, and you guys will hear my thoughts on how I feel about this episode overall. Basically, we start off with Amberle. She's now, as we know, she was given permission in the last episode to go on this quest to save the Elecries, and as we know, she has to kind of go on this mini quest to prove that she can do it. So she enters the Elecries to see if she's worthy of the world-saving quest, and right away, the Elecries flower sprays her in the face with pollen, and basically she goes in this wasteland, and Lauren appears, accusing her of never loving him but having feelings for someone else, and then Wil appears wearing all black, even his huge stone arts and crafts fair necklace is dark, so this is obviously not the same Wil Ohmsfield that we know him as, and Dark Wil orders Amberle to kill him to prove her commitment to the quest, and then attacks her with a sword in an aggressive manner, and he tells her to harden her heart because of the world depends on her, not letting fear or love distract her. Now, that line is very important throughout this entire episode, and it's one of the reasons this episode just doesn't work. We'll get into that. I mean, basically, what she's being told to do is to not let your emotions get in the way of your decisions, and to make decisions based on what needs to be done versus what you want to happen, and that definitely is what Dark Wil is telling her, that she's going to go on this emotionless quest, and needs to remain emotionless. So she finally runs him through with the sword. Dark Wil gasps after she passed the test, and she then sees a vision of Wil, Eretria, and a stained glass window. She comes to inside the Elecries, bloody and disheveled, and the flower opens to reveal the Elecries seed. And when she emerges, Eventine booms that the Elecries has chosen her to carry the seed to the Bloodfire. Amberle then leaves the sanctuary, giving Wil a strange look, obviously because she just saw him in a very dark way, and we flip to the Changeling in the form of a castle guard, and communicating with the Dagdamor, and the Dagdamor orders it to kill Amberle before she leaves the palace, and we see that the Changeling also says it's taking all of its power to hide its presence, and as we know, the Changeling can take form of anything, pretty much, and the Changeling, I will say, was menacing, but I don't really think we saw enough of it. I feel like they just pretty much just set it up in this episode, because I don't really think we saw enough of the Changeling in this episode, I have to say that. And unfortunately for the Held Elecries Keeper, he notices the guard's odd behavior and is rewarded with a sword right through the throat. I mean, really crazy stuff there, but it shows how menacing and dark the Changeling is. And basically, as a reminder, Amberle has to take the Elecries seed to the Bloodfire, which is located in Safehold. And thanks to her vision quest, she now knows that Safehold lies behind the Wild Run. Now, I will say, they are explaining this way too much. I mean, several times throughout this episode, we get what I call exposition dump. Characters explaining something so that way the audience can remember what's going on and not have to think about anything. And honestly, I would much rather watch a show where not everything is explained to us. I think that's just more interesting, and the fact that this show is explaining everything, I'm not as big as a fan of. I definitely will say that. But basically with MC, that Uncle Andrew reminds the king that he once met an elf with experience in the Wild Run. The Royal Planning Committee decides to send Amberle and Wil to meet the elf at Fort Draywood, and a group of soldiers led by Kristen Edenson will accompany them. So Wil can't take Amberle's strange behavior anymore, and he just asks her, like, you know, what's going on, why she's being so weird, and Obviously, I mean, not everything's about Wil. I don't know why he's so concerned, but Amberle Hedges says that she's frightened, and Wil says it's a good thing that he's coming with her, and he can annoy the demons to death, but she brusquely tells him not to let his emotions get in the way, and he looks stunned. Again, remember, very important line is when she says, don't let your emotions get in the way. We'll get into why this is a problem later in the episode. So Wil then wanders outside and finds Bandon, who I think is a very interesting character. I know there were a lot of people that were upset that they put a new character into the show on episode 3. And yeah, maybe it is, maybe this is a character that doesn't necessarily need to be in the show, but overall, I'm really interested by Bandon. I think overall, the way they're setting him up, he recoils from Wil's offer to bandage the wounds on his wrists left by the chains, and he admits that when people touch him, he actually sees their death. In fact, when he touched Amberle, he saw another woman dead in a room with a stained glass from her vision, and just knowing of what Bandon can do and that he can see people's death is very interesting, and I'm definitely interested in seeing what he's going to bring to the show, because definitely very interesting stuff there. We then see Eretria. She's breaking into the castle to steal the Elfstones again, and she finds Wil in his room, levels with him. Sefella wants the Elfstones and will kill her if she doesn't get them. Further, we learn that she grew up learning to steal by day and fending off Cefello's men by night. She gives Wil this bullshit story that Cefello is not actually her father, and that, she doesn't actually want the Elfstones, and she wants to escape with Wil to a new life. For whatever reason, I don't know why, after all the time she's crossed him, Wil, for whatever reason, believes her. He basically tells her that his new life could be very, very short, so he decides to believe her. She turns on the charm, calling him brave and saying Amberle's lucky to have him, and Wil's still reeling from Amberle's dismissal, says the two of them aren't together, and he then tells Eretria that he's not falling from the seduction act again, and I'm just thinking, Wil, you're saying all the wrong things. I mean, why would you believe her? After 3 times that she's done the same thing, why would you believe her? I just don't get it. And Eretria even says that she guessed why he doesn't trust him, doesn't trust her, but she's sorry. And basically he tells her that he's not falling for the seduction act again, but she tugs him to her and kisses him, and he doesn't try to stop her. So, bullshit. I'm not believing anything you say, Wil, because that's kind of stupid that you literally tell her, I'm not going to fall for your tricks, when that's exactly what you do. And he accepts her apology, she pushes him to the bed, and basically we see that they have sex. Again, they have sex. And what happened the last time? She got away, and she drugged him and she got away. And pretty much the same thing happens here. We'll get into that. It doesn't exactly go that way, but it's very similar to what happened in the first episode. So, however, I will say that something I did like about this scene is that I wasn't sure if Eretria was telling the truth or not, because there's a part of me that was thinking, okay, maybe Eretria is telling the truth. Maybe she actually doesn't want the Elfstones, was she actually, not planning on taking the Elfstones? Does she actually care about Wil? I mean, there were a lot of possibilities, definitely, here. But what happens, I definitely was not a fan of. Arione and Amberle are plotting to unmask the demon, and she asks where Wil is. We cut to him naked and asleep in bed, except for his necklace, and Eretria kisses him and whispers that she'll never call him short tips again. And we then see that Bandon bumps into Amberle's head maiden, Catania, into the hallway. I think that's her name, Catania, something like that. And has a vision, and he warns her that she'll die if she goes upstairs. And not surprisingly, Catania ignores Bandon, and upstairs, Amberle spots Eretria trying to escape. Eretria bolts. The Changeling takes that opportunity to assume her form, and basically, we get this crazy scene with Eretria trying to escape, and Catania runs into the hallway, gets in the way of the Changeling, Eretria's knife, but Bandon pulls her aside, and the Changeling switches back to being a guard, and the real Eretria is caught and dragged before Eventine and Amberle. She insists that she's innocent until Wil strolls in and announces that she came for the Elfstones, and he wouldn't put anything past her at this point. Okay, Wil, so why the fuck would you sleep with her? That's what doesn't make sense to me, is if you didn't believe her, why would you sleep with her? It doesn't make sense why he'd do such a thing. So, Al-Anon obviously thinks Will's an idiot, which is one of the reasons I love Al-Anon. I've said before, Al-Anon I think is my favorite character on this show, because he knows when Will's being an idiot, and Will retrieves the elf stones. Eretria tries to convince Will that she had a million chances to murder Amberle in the woods, so trying in the castle makes no sense. And he isn't believing it now, so obviously we see that he's just not believing it. So in preparation for her journey, Eventine then gives Amberle her father's sword and says that she has a selflessness and bravery. And he says that Arberlon could not have chosen a finer protector. And Eventine also breaks the news to Prince Arione that he's not going to abdicate the throne even if they defeat the demon horde, because Arione's not ready to be king, and Arione obviously is pissed about this. Arione, at this point, I'm just sick of. I think Arione's really annoying. I don't like the way he acts like a child. I think it's stupid that Arione wants his throne all for himself, and he still doesn't seem to believe in this magic. He still doesn't believe in it, and that is a perfect reason why Eventine shouldn't make him king. I mean, Arione doesn't deserve it. So I like that Eventine is not making Arione king, because he definitely does not deserve it right now. I mean, just the fact that he hasn't believed Amberle and her thing with all the magic and everything, he hasn't believed her. That is enough of a reason why Arione should not be king. So I'm glad that Eventine didn't make him king. And Eventine snaps that Amberle's father understood that no one deserves a crown. And Arione pouts that it's tough to live up to his dead brother's legacy, and it's just, I don't care. I don't care, honestly. If this entire show is just going to be Arione pouting, I mean, I don't care. I don't. There's other things to get through. We don't need to see Arione pouting. So, we see Amberle. She asks Will how Eretria got her hands on the elf stones, and Will badly lies that they struggled and she knocked him out, and Al-Anon can tell that Will is lying. Both men agree that Eretria probably didn't try to kill Amberle, and since the murderer's still out there, they use Bandon's gift to see Lauren's final moments and determine who it is that, could have tried to steal it, and Ban announces that it was Amberle who killed Lauren, and Al-Anon realizes that it's a Changeling. It's not, obviously Amberle, because Amberle would not kill Lauren. There's just no reason why she would do that. However, I did like that the conversation came up about, did Amberle really love Lauren? That was a very interesting conversation that came up, because yeah, that is a big question. Did she really love Lauren, or was it just because she didn't really have anyone else? I mean, there's a part of me that doesn't think that she loved Lauren, and that she simply was just with Lauren because there was nobody else for her, and Lauren was the one that she was just betrothed to. So I kind of feel like it was that, but I really like that they brought that up. I thought that was definitely very interesting, but that very quickly went away when we see that it's a Changeling, and the group then hatch a plan to use Eretria as a decoy, so Amberle, Amberle to lure out the demon, and Will thinks that he can talk her into it, and Al-Anon basically, gives him this look of just try not to sleep with her or whatever, and again, Al-Anon can tell that Will is probably going to try to sleep with her again. So Bandon then confirms that the woman he saw dead with Amberle in his vision is Eretria, and Al-Anon tells Bandon that his own mentor was a seer who walked the line between light and dark, and definitely you can tell that Al-Anon still isn't too trusting of Bandon, but you can tell that his own mentor could tell, is very much like Bandon. I'm definitely interested in seeing some bonding between Al-Anon and Bandon, because it's clear that Al-Anon has seen someone like Bandon before, and I'm definitely interested in seeing what's going to happen between those two. Definitely, that's one of the things I'm really interested in, is what's going on with Al-Anon and Bandon. So Amberle and Will then visit Eretria in the dungeon to offer her freedom in exchange for help. She's either the bait or she faces the Elven Court, and Amberle reminds her that she assaulted Will, and that's how he sees it, and we get this really stupid dialogue. I mean, the dialogue here was so bad. Eretria just being like, assaulted, is that what he told you? And Will says the details aren't important. Eretria says the struggle was mutual and lasted about an hour, and I'm just like, this high school dialogue is so bad. I mean, if this was a regular show, fine, but this this high school dialogue, it's terrible. It really is, and I'm not a fan of it, I gotta say. I mean, just the way they're setting this up is really stupid. And remember, Amberle specifically told Wil, do not let your emotions get in the way. That's what Amberle is doing. This is all based on the fact that she does not love Eretria, that she does not like Eretria, and that she doesn't trust her because she's a rover. That is the only reason that this is going on, and it's really pointless in my opinion, because we know that Eritrea is going to join Amberle and Wil because it's a plot of the show, and they're supposed to go on this quest together. I mean, to me at least, this whole thing is just pointless. I really think it's dumb, and it's one of the things that's keeping me from really enjoying the show fully. So Amberle's shocked, but keeps her cool, even though she's obviously not cool with it. I mean, just knowing what happened between Eritrea and Wil, it's stupid. So Eritrea poses as Amberle, and she and Wil have some delayed pillow talk as they wait for a demon attack. Eritrea accuses him of seducing her. Wil is baffled by this interpretation as everyone is watching. He tells her that he couldn't possibly regret sleeping with her more than he already does, but she finds a way, and she says that Amberle won't want a rover sloppy seconds. And again, horrible dialogue, I really hate it. So before Wil can respond, Captain Tilton steps in to say they found the body of a guard, which means that the Changelings likely form, and this means that the Changeling could know that they're using a decoy because the guards were in the room as they were planning. So we cut to the Eretria sanctuary where Wil races towards Amberle. He draws a dagger, shocking everyone but Arione, who pounces and breaks Wil's neck. Then another Wil rushes in. He knew that wasn't the real Wil, the real one, and with the demon dead, Eritrea tries to leave, but Amberle wants to send her back to the dungeon. Then Wil remembers Bandon's vision and realizes that Amberle likely saw Eritrea in her vision too, so most likely the other woman is Eritrea, so we know that. And busted, Amberle claims that she thought the vision was a warning about the attack that just happened, and more like she wishes that were the case, instead of it meaning that Eritrea is destined to travel with them. However, Arione wasn't in her vision, so that means that the people setting out for Fort Draywood will be Amberle, who's been lying about her visions, obviously. And pretty much everyone's lying. It's really stupid, honestly. It's just dumb that all of this is based on lying. I mean, Amberle lied about her vision seeing Eritrea because she doesn't want to admit the fact that Eritrea is going to join them on their quest. Wil's lying about, Wil does a very bad job at lying about everything, and Eritrea can't be trusted at all. So you have these three people that clearly don't trust each other, and I'm definitely interested in seeing what's going to happen there. So they prepare to depart. Wil begs Arione to come along, but Arione assures him he'll learn to unlock the elf stones and keep everybody safe from demons, and it's not the demons and Wil says that he's not the demons he's worried about. Yeah, I understand that, Wil. I mean, there's a lot more to deal with. Who knows what could happen between Amberle and Eritrea, and I heard that this is all new. I heard there is nothing here that's from the book, that all of this jealousy between Eritrea and Amberle is directly from this show, and I think it's a really bad change. I think it's really stupid, and I understand you want to give them more problems to endure, but we don't need this love triangle, and this was the thing I was worried about, and I really hope that the show doesn't try to focus itself on that and focuses on the quest, because I don't give a shit about this love triangle. I don't care who Wil ends up with. I don't care that Eritrea can't really be trusted right now. I just don't care. I really don't. I want to focus on this quest. I want to be interested in the show, and I can't be interested if this entire thing is going to be banked on this love triangle. I just can't. So Savella watches the road trip from Hell get underway with Eritrea on foot and chained to two guards, and he says to not worry that he's coming, and just when you think everything's okay, we see another Changeling arrives, and that's how the episode ends. So, overall, there were a lot of things I really did like about this episode. Like, I like the fact that finally we have these two people, going on this quest, and I definitely like seeing that. Definitely, I was very happy to see that finally we've now moved forward, with this quest, seeing these three going on the quest. I mean, it seems like it's taken us a very long time to get there. I hope it pays off. I really do, because where we've been going so far, I'm not really a fan of this. I'm not. I don't like the slow pacing. I don't like it. We'll have to see what happens there. What kind of problems they're going to endure in this quest, I have no idea. There definitely is going to be a lot of things that they get into here. Let's talk about Eretria. Can they really trust Eretria right now? I mean, obviously, she's gone on this quest with them, and we'll have to see what ends up happening there, but she's now gone on this quest with them. Well, she hasn't, she's gonna go on this quest with them, we know. So we'll have to see what happens with that. It's clear that she can't be trusted, but we'll have to see. I mean, it's all really annoying. I'm not a fan of any of it, and they need to move forward with it, definitely. They need to move on from it, and like I said, I don't care who Will ends up with. I don't care if he ends up with Amberle, I don't care if he ends up with Eritrea. That doesn't matter to me, and the show is banking way too much on it, and I just don't really care. That was my biggest thing with this episode, is that most of this episode focused on that. Most of this episode focused on is, Will, does he care about Eritrea? Does he have feelings for her? Why he trusted her, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Will did it again. In fact, I think he's going to do it again, because he's an idiot. Honestly, this is supposed to be our big hero of the show, and he's an idiot. He really is, I have to say. And, I understand that Will has these powers and everything, but he really is an idiot when you think about it, and Al-Anon knows that. That's one of the reasons I love Al-Anon as a character. Arione as well needs to stop pouting every 5 seconds. I really hope, since they're going on this quest, that we don't see a lot of Arione, because I'm honestly sick of him already. Bandon, what is Bandon going to do? How is Bandon going to be of service to them? Now that they're going on this quest, Bandon doesn't seem to be coming along, so how's Bandon going to help them out? If Bandon was simply just there for this one plot point, I'm going to be very upset, because I want more from this character, and so far, all we're getting is just someone there to be convenience to the plot. That is the only reason he's there. And okay, that's fine, but I need more of a character from him. We're not getting that. So, overall, guys, a lot of things are annoying me about this show. I really want to enjoy this show. I really want to move forward and enjoy it, but the fact that this show is just banking so much on bullshit is not something I'm really enjoying. But overall, guys, let me know what you guys saw this episode. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. I know a lot of you are very disappointed in the show. I am too. I think the slow moving of it, I'm not a fan of. I don't like that, like I said. Most of this is banking on a love triangle that I don't give a shit about. And I will see you guys in my next video, which will either be for American Crime or the series premiere of Baskets. And I will see you guys for that. Okay, bye.